I'm here to talk to you about my concept to be more rainbow, giving 3 strategic steps for brands to stand out and connect with people. But what do I mean by being more rainbow? Well, I believe most agencies can stand up here and talk to you about the 7 Ps of the marketing mix or derivatives of it. So instead, I thought I'd take some of the characteristics of a rainbow to reframe how we look at marketing strategies and how we build them. So one of the first traits, unity. The rainbow signifies ubiquitous meaning of unity between earth and sky, science and nature, rain and sun. So I discuss how integration of services, tactics, and more can make for a harmonic, awe-inspiring effect. Next trait, possibility. The rainbow delivers infinite possibilities, different possibilities, beautiful ones. So I discuss a fresh look at messaging and how we move into a new light with a new perspective. Finally, connection. Rainbows connect people through an experience. They pull people together. They stop people in their tracks. So I look at how brands can do exactly that. But let's imagine something first. Imagine if everyone was the same. We all looked the same. We all spoke the same words. We liked the same things. We loathed the same things. Everything was just grey. Historically, this is how brands have communicated with their customers, with one message, to one audience, with one intention. But we're not all the same. We're all different. We have different needs. We are unapologetically us. We are people. So why is it then that brands are still dictating to, rather than communicating with, people? Still pushing messages like, our products are great. This celebrity likes it, so you will. Follow us. Like this. Try that. Buy now. Wouldn't brands have greater success of recruiting, converting, and retaining customers if they look less at the product and more at the people? Wouldn't brands not only gain loyalty but also inspire it if they attempted to stand out from all the grey? Wouldn't it be better to be more rainbow? This is me, a long time ago in the 1980s, clearly camera shy. And I learnt from a very young age that being the same as everybody else is boring. Dancing in the sea of people, turning the other way as they point in delight, being more rainbow, is powerful. It builds trusting, lasting relationships and memorable moments that matter. It gets you noticed. So it's the same for brands and how they are perceived by and connect with people. If brands were more rainbow, they could not only stand out, they could inspire awe, and therefore connection, and therefore engagement, and therefore referrals, and therefore greater custom. So my 3 steps on how you can stand out and be more rainbow. Starting with unity. When designing a strategy, we start with the data, but let's remind ourselves that big data is people. Data isn't an objective measure of who we are. It's a showcase of our preferences. It's a profile of what we love and what we don't love. So if we marry emotion with data, we can really uncover what people want. We can use it to drive our thinking and build foundations towards our creativity. So here's one case study that I believe demonstrates the harmonic unity of emotion and data. Adidas identified what their customers want, what they love, and looked at what their customers were prevented from doing when it came to their passion. So by understanding their customers, in this case urban city runners, they identified that that blocker, in this case, was traffic signals. So they removed the blockers, and in their words, found a way to create a seamless experience that allowed people to do the free-flowing, pulse racing, soul-releasing liberation of the unfettered city run. Here's their solution. Roll VT.
There are an infinite number of traffic signals in the major cities of the world. London, New York, Tokyo, They stop cars from crashing into each other, but they also stop urban runners from expressing themselves. They stop the free-flowing, pulse-racing, soul-releasing liberation of the unfettered true city run. So, Adidas created a completely new kind of urban run.
Green Light Run changes your perception of city running from a chaos to a world of gaming.
Working with Tokyo Police Department data, they calculated the cycle of every light in the city. Then, engineered an algorithm that ensured an Adidas green light runner need never stop because a traffic signal stood in their way.
10 seconds to the next green light. Choose the detour route.
Became a full-length street marathon through Tokyo, and it grabbed attention across the world. Because a runner should know no barrier, other than their own athletic passion.
I love that video. I've seen it so many times and it still inspires awe. But let's look at what they did. They collaborated with the Tokyo Police Department. They captured the data to calculate the signal changes of every light in the city. Then they engineered an algorithm to notify the runners so they were never blocked by them again. They curated the video content, campaign wrapped it in the green light run. They pushed it out with an omni-channel approach, and the interest spread. It's an incredible integration, a systematic experience that, further to Sam's point, that uses and weaves different teams, different perspectives, different tactics, different services. It unifies approaches for greater impact. Next, we look at possibility. There is always another way. And if that way considers people first, then we need to go directly to those people to discover their needs. One of our clients is Kimberly Clark. I saw some of you over there. And we are completely redoing the potty training website for Huggies Pull-Ups. From the content, to the tone of voice, to the brand aesthetic, right down to the language in every call to action. We're looking at new possibilities as a better way to give customers what they really want. And these changes are informed by people and are set to outstand competitors through differentiation. We started by interviewing what we identified as the target personas. In this case, it's parents and carers. And we also knew that these people were time short. So they couldn't necessarily make one focus group on a set day, at a set time, at a set place. So we took the focus group to them, and we held it digitally. We did it by live video chat, and it enabled parents to dip in and out as it suited them, and have the interviews in their own home environments, usually surrounded by kids going crazy in the background, but it was reality, and that was our exact intention of capturing it. This revealed some key sentiment trends that were very insightful, and all in all, parents, they dreaded the potty training experience, whereas previously brands had put a huge onus on pressurizing children. Parents felt pressurized, they felt overwhelmed. They dreaded wanting to approach this, what they thought was messy and gross experience. So how did we turn that around? How did Huggies show that they could read minds and understand that? But something that was quite interesting as well, that adults were saying they wanted to be spoken to like adults because they felt they were being spoken to like children. So we looked at that too, and the language that we of course use therefore. And finally, there was a misunderstanding of the product. Parents were comparing pull-ups to a nappy pant, which is incorrect. They were seeing pull-ups as a blocker, preventing children from getting to the end goal of wearing real underwear. So the whole language, the whole brand experience needed to be more relatable, more understanding, and more realistic. So by showing that they could read their customer's mind in doing this and delivering the right message to the right person at the right time on the right channel was a successful step forward. We also needed to show that the product benefits were clear and understandable at a glance efficiently. So brand messaging has started to look something like this: a stepping stone in confidence, bridging the gap from nappies to the end goal for parent and child, and also positioning pull-ups as a partner on the potty training journey. We're just stating claims quite easily with a very single-minded approach, telling it like it is and eradicating the comparison. We're also looking at the product articulation from a more creatively dynamic point of view. Everything and all the education is there at a glance. We're using people-powered statements with language that comes and is informed by the customers themselves, building trust. And finally, we're looking at the language on the purchase button. To be more rainbow, we considered that parents don't need to learn more. They learn enough every second of the day. So we changed learn more to let's get started. More captivating, encouraging, empowering, and supportive. So uncovering possibilities needn't necessarily mean entirely new, but it does mean being less comfortable, less assuming, and more in touch with the reason you're doing what you're doing and whom you're doing it for. The final trait, connection. An effective experience connects people together for greater impact. It speaks to us, it immerses us, it is us. If you understand your customers and what they want, and you present an experience based on human truth, they will become your influencers. They will start to tell that story for you. You've invited them in and you've empowered them to be a part of it. So let's look at a case study that brings this strategy to life. Some of you know it. It's Vaseline Clinical Therapy, and they've used real people to tell a story about their product.
If something really works for you, chances are you'll want to share it with the people you really care about. That's the basic human truth that made the launch of Vaseline Clinical Therapy a nationwide success. We started a social experiment on the little island of Kodiak, Alaska, a part of the country known to be particularly harsh on the skin. Here we met Petal Rouge. Since this is the first prescription-strength moisturizer available without a prescription, we asked Petal to try it, and if it worked for her, to prescribe it to anyone she thought might need it. And so it spread. People who loved the product prescribing it to people they loved. To stay absolutely true to the spread of the lotion, we made sure to accurately plot every single person who had been prescribed. This connection map was then drawn out and used to create the spread visual. Before long, nearly the entire town had been prescribed. Throughout the experiment, we carefully documented every single person who received the product. Then, over the course of 3 weeks, we captured 3,000 photographs and shot over 200 hours of footage of the people of Kodiak. With the town successfully prescribed, it was time to move on to prescribing the nation. Using the footage we'd obtained in Kodiak, we developed a multimedia campaign of TV.
I prescribed it to my fellow drivers.
My daughter, my husband.
My wife's using it now.
I recommend about 20 people.
Print, in-store, trade, and web. The website was a way for the rest of America to discover clinical therapy, try it, and then prescribe it to those they cared about. And they did. To date, over 3 million people have been prescribed across America. From local media in Kodiak
This is Vaseline. This is a new thing they're coming out with.
to national attention, the press continues to be drawn to our cause and has helped us introduce even more people to clinical therapy. From one person to over 3 million.
From one person to over 3 million. What Vaseline did there is they pulled people together, real people, and connected them and empowered them to tell that story for them. They knew what those people needed. They were confident that their product could deliver that. And they became influential. They gathered that authentic footage and carved it up for a successful multimedia campaign. Really, it was quite a simple campaign, and the people kind of evolved it for them. But they were able to get so much out of one effort. And ultimately, the connection of real people, prescribing it to others, empowered them to do so, and cemented the brand claim even further as a bonus. So to summarise, in this fragmented, chaotic, ad-inundated marketplace, I've given you 3 ways to stand out and be more rainbow. To recap, unify, break down the silos, marry emotion and data, bring people together to uncover what people really want as a basis to then deliver that. Number 2, uncover new possibilities. Always ask questions. Is what we're doing really showing that we understand our customers? Is the current way the most effective way? Number 3, connection. Create and orchestrate a seamless experience that is integrated and consistent. Empower people to tell that story for you by inviting them in to be a part of it. Co-create it with them. And finally, to leave you on one more point, rather than going too far the other way and doing several messages with several campaigns with several different teams across several different channels, instead try to find ways to achieve greater customer relevance based on what the people you are targeting really want. It's a simple approach, but one we often overlook. Always bring it back to the people. Because if you don't get the people right, the strategy won't matter. If you don't consider the people, you won't be able to execute your strategy either. So stand out and turn the other way. Be bold, be brave, be more rainbow. Thank you.